Um, Moving forward to December 26th, the following day. You've heard, strike that. Could you tell us what you remember about the day in as much detail or as little detail as you want, starting with what you did the day after Christmas on 2022?
I remember going to Hadley, to Harbor Freight and Home Depot to buy some things that I got gift cards, or buy some things at those stores where I got gift cards for.
And was one of them a green toolbox?
Yes.
Okay, we've seen that in one of these pictures, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you go there with somebody?
Yes, I went there with my friend Matt Kelsey.
And so you went to Harbor Freight and Home Depot, is that right?
Yes.
All right. What else did you do that day?
I got back to the house around noontime. Me and Brooke's father had planned on going hunting. I went where we talked about going hunting. He wasn't there, and I went back to the house. It was mid-afternoon, which is not a good time for hunting, so I hung around the house for a while, an hour or two, and then went hunting essentially in the backyard of the house because they own a decent amount of woods.
So you went out behind 239 South Street?
Correct.
Okay, by yourself?
Yes.
Okay. At some point you came home, I'm assuming?
Yes, around dark.
What happened next?
I went inside, took my hunting stuff off. Brooke was making dinner. We fed the girls. We ate, gave the girls a bath, put them to bed. We cleaned up the dinner mess and the rest of the house, and then we went to bed.
Okay. Do you have a memory of what time or no, that you went to bed?
Roughly around 9 to 10 o'clock.
Is that kind of a usual time?
Yes.
And I know we've had testimony about a lot of this stuff, but can you describe for the jury the layout of the house on your way upstairs?
As you go up the stairs, you see the bathroom door, and
What do you mean? Where is that located?
straight ahead when you're walking up the stairs.
Okay.
And the width of the bathroom door is the distance between my bedroom and Brooke's bedroom on the left and the girls' bedroom on the right.
Okay. Had you, prior to this date, had you recently switched rooms with the girls?
We did.
Okay. So they had been in where you were on December 26th, December 27th previously?
Correct.
Okay. And so you went up to the left into your room, the girls were in the right in their room, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And did you fall asleep, do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. What did you wear when you went to sleep?
I was not wearing anything.
Okay. And I'm going to put on the screen what has been marked as exhibit number 32 and ask if you recognize that.
Yes.
What is it?
That is my bed in my bedroom.
Okay. And actually, Your Honor, do we have the pointer?
It's right to the side.
Thank you.
Would you like it?
You use it. Can you show the jury where it is that you went to sleep, the side of the bed that you were on?
I was on this side of the bed,
Okay.
close to the wall.
And I'm assuming that these glasses were not in the bed when you went to sleep? correct?
No.
And was this bed pulled away from the wall when you went to sleep?
No.
And was this hole in the wall when you went to sleep?
No.
Okay. What's the next thing you remember happening after you fell asleep?
I remember Brooke waking me up slightly to tell me she hears a noise.
Did you wake up?
I did wake up.
And how did you respond?
I told her that that was weird because both of the cats were outside.
Okay. Did you hear anything?
I did not.
Okay. And is it fair to say that, again, looking at exhibit number 32, that this wall abuts the stairs? So the stair, when I say this, I'm pointing to the wall on the left with the hole in it, and the stairs would be on this side, right on the other side of that wall?
That is correct.
Okay. And did you fall back asleep, or what happened after that initial wake up?
I did close my eyes and start going back to sleep.
What was the next thing you remember happening?
I remember hearing Brooke scream, and I immediately opened my eyes and saw her jump in mid-jump, jumping back from what I assume was the doorway back further into the room.
Do you remember if the lights were on or off at that point?
The lights were off.
Was she holding her phone?
She did have her phone.
And what happened next?
Then I sat up in bed and scooched towards the end of the bed.
What do you mean by scooched?
I pulled my body towards where my feet were with my legs, and then I saw a human silhouette in the doorway.
The doorway of your bedroom?
Correct.
What happened?
Whoever that was immediately jumped on top of me, slammed me into the wall.
Did he say anything before he did that?
No.
Go ahead, I interrupted you.
He was on top of me in my own bed with his hands around my neck. He had slammed me into the wall, and my legs were crunched all the way up to my body, my knees touching my chest, and my heels touching my butt. And he was on top of me, prohibiting me from extending my legs.
He had his hands around your throat?
Yes.
And with the pointer, can you point to the approximate area you can remember this happening?
Approximately right here, in line with the glasses, the pillow, and the hole in the wall.
And where was your backside seated or not, if you remember?
Roughly where the pillow is.
And at that point, did it seem like this guy was clothed?
Yes, it appeared as he was clothed.
Okay. Was he saying anything to you at that point?
No.
Can you tell the jury when he was on top of you in that situation, was he just squeezing your throat? Was he banging your head? What was he doing?
He was squeezing my throat.
Okay. And were you trying to get away?
Yes.
And were you able to?
No.
Okay. And by the way, how tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
And how much do you weigh?
Probably 150 pounds.
Okay. And did you sense that this guy was bigger than you?
Yes.
you have any idea what was going on at that point?
At that point, all I knew was I was being choked.
What happened next?
I said to Brooke, do something, and then I heard a smash of what I assume is a glass object because of the noise it made when it broke.
And did you see where it landed?
No.
Okay. After that smash, was this person, did that smash stop this person from doing what he was doing to you?
No.
Did it cause something to happen to allow you to get out of there?
Yes.
What happened?
It caused him to stop applying as much pressure on my entire body, so I was able to get out from underneath of him.
Okay. And if you remember, if you don't, I understand, but do you remember how you got out of there? Like what route you took from the bed?
No.
Okay. What happened after you escaped from him that time?
I ran around to his back and grabbed him by his neck with my arm. And
What do you mean? If you can show the jury what you mean?
I had my right arm around his neck, and I had my left arm around my right arm.
Okay. And do you know that as a rear naked choke?
Yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say you were trying to knock him out, basically?
Obstruction, you are leading. Sustained.
What were you trying to do by putting your arm around his neck?
I was trying to control him and essentially knock him out.
And at some point, you said that you were able to get behind him to do that, correct?
Yes.
So were you, the entire time you were doing that, were your feet on the ground?
Once I was choking him, he did elevate me off the ground.
So you're on his back,
Yes.
your feet off the ground,
Yes.
and you're trying to choke him.
Yes.
Was it stopping him from, well, were you able to stop him from doing what he was doing?
No.
Were the lights on at that point, if you remember?
At this point, yes, the lights were on.
Okay, and I have loaded up exhibit number 34. That's still part of your bedroom, correct?
Yes.
And we're looking at a linoleum section of that floor, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you estimate about where it was that you were on his back trying to choke him out?
In between, or right at the split of the linoleum floor and the carpet.
Do you not have the pointer anymore?
I do have the pointer.
Can you use the pointer?
Right here, roughly,
Okay.
where the
What
floor
was he,
splits.
what was he doing while you had your arm around his neck?
He was trying to grab and pull my arms off of his neck.
And was he able to do that?
No.
What's the next thing that happened?
We both fell to the ground.
And do you remember what position it was that you, well, strike that. When you both fell to the ground, did you release your attempted choke?
No.
Okay. And were you on your back, on his front? How were you positioned on the floor?
It was my front to his back, and we were both on our sides.
Okay. And we see what appears to be some blood on the linoleum, correct?
Yes.
Had you noticed at that point that he was bleeding or no?
No.
Okay. And is that approximately where the two of you had landed?
Yes.
What was he doing while you were in that position and trying to do that to him?
He was reaching around, trying to grab anything.
So with his arms?
Yes.
And Was he able, that you could see or sense, was he able to grab anything?
No.
What was the next thing that he tried to do? And by the way, this whole time, are you still hanging on to his neck
Yes.
with your arm? Fair to say that it's not preventing him from moving around, correct?
Correct.
All right. What's the next thing that he does physically?
He then begins to touch my face and search for my eyeballs with his hands.
Where is your head in relation to his?
Directly behind his head.
Okay. And so you can, how do you know that he's touching your face with his hands?
Correct.
Okay. And you say he's feeling around, what do you mean?
He's constantly moving the position of his hands.
On your face?
Correct.
Okay. And at some point, does he do something that causes you to release him?
Yes. He
What-
gets one or both fingers in between my eyeball and my eye socket.
And is that what caused you to let go of him?
Yes.
Why?
So I didn't lose my eyes.
What did you do?
I then ran downstairs.
And as far as you knew, where had you left him by the time you were at your door?
When I was at the door, he was in that area of the room.
And you're pointing to the screen, the linoleum area, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you went downstairs.
Yes.
Fair to say that you passed the girls' room.
Yes.
Why did you not go into the girls' room or do anything with the girls at that point?
Because they were safe in there.
Okay. And what was one of your purposes of going downstairs?
To get him away from my children.
Okay. Did that work?
Yes.
You still naked?
Yes.
Where did you go?
I went down the stairs.
And what did you do when you got there? And by the way, are the lights on downstairs at that point?
Yes, the lights are on downstairs.
Okay. Where did you go?
I went down the stairs and to the left of the stairs.
And at that point, could you sense that he was behind you or coming down the stairs or not yet?
Yes, I could hear him coming down the stairs.
Had he said anything yet?
Yes, upstairs he did state that he was going to kill me.
Yeah, one moment, Judge.
Okay.
Was that the first time he had said something to you?
Yes.
So when you get downstairs, I think you said you went to the left?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you see, well, other than everything down there, what was it that you did once you went to the left?
I saw my green toolbox with my muzzle loader laying on top of it.
Okay. And the often spoke of muzzle loader here today is it's a black powder well, it's not a firearm. It's a black powder gun, correct?
Yes.
And it's a rifle, right?
Yes.
Okay. And there's actually a special season in Massachusetts for hunting with black powder, correct?
Yes.
And that was the season, is that right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And had you been hunting with it?
Yes, I was.
And what did you do when you saw the muzzle loader?
I picked it up.
And what did you do?
I brought it up to my shoulder and pointed it at him and told him to get the fuck out of here.
And what position were you in relation to the door, and what position was he in relation to the door?
I had backed up into the middle of the living room, and he was by my green toolbox, by the door, closer to the door than he was to me.
Did he get the fuck out?
No.
Was the door open?
Yes.
I'm showing you what has been marked as Exhibit 56. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What does that show?
That is a picture from the living room of my house, and that shows the green toolbox and the front door.
And could you point to, I mean, it's the white door to the left-hand side, correct?
Correct.
And that was open?
Yes.
And what direction did you come from? Down, where are the foot of the stairs?
Yeah, the stairs come down over here. This wall is actually the stairwell.
Okay. And could you show as best you can the direction of your travel after you grabbed the muzzle loader?
I grabbed the muzzle loader off of the green toolbox. I spun around facing the window and backed up roughly to about here.
Okay. And pointed the gun at him?
Yes,
Where did he come from?
he came from right there.
Okay. And besides not getting out, what did he do next?
He then came towards me and grabbed the muzzle loader.
While you were pointing it at him?
Yes.
And what happened?
We briefly fought back and forth with the muzzle loader, and he was able to pull it out of my hands.
So was he grabbing it by the barrel?
Yes.
And so he pulled the gun completely out of your hand?
Yes.
Okay. Obviously, at that point, you are within that gun's length away from each other?
Yes.
And what happened after he pulled the gun out of your hands?
He was waving it around.
What
Trying.
What do you mean by that?
He was pointing it up in both ways so I could not get a hold of it.
I see. So is it fair to say he was keeping it away from, trying to keep it away from you?
Yes.
Okay. Were you trying to grab it?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
I did manage to grab it in the same way he grabbed it, by the barrel.
And then what?
And then I recall seeing him pulling the trigger.
And fair to say that the trigger, that this is, again, this is a long gun, correct?
Yes.
All right. And the trigger is the thing that you pull to fire it, correct?
Yes.
And how was the gun positioned when you saw him first trying to pull the trigger?
He had it in his hands as you would normally hold a long gun, and I had the barrel.
Was it up on his shoulder? Was it down by his hip? Do you remember?
It was down by his hip.
And were you actually holding on to a portion of that gun?
Yes, I was holding onto the barrel.
And where was the barrel pointed?
It was pointed directly at my stomach.
And he's trying to pull the trigger?
Yes.
Was it not firing?
It was not.
Is there something other than pulling the trigger that you have to do for that gun to fire?
Yes.
What is that?
You have to cock the hammer back prior to pulling the trigger.
And so when you saw that he was pulling the trigger, what did you do?
I then moved out of the direction of the barrel.
And do what?
I then push the barrel away from me and I went around his back and grabbed onto the grip of the gun on the rear, and we were still fighting back and forth for it. My arms were around him, holding onto it as he was still holding onto it as well.
All right, just so that I'm clear. You were behind him and holding onto the gun?
Yes,
He's holding onto the gun too?
yes.
Okay, and what is going on physically between you two besides holding onto the gun?
We're both fighting each other back and forth, trying to gain full control of the gun.
Okay, and what happened next?
I was able to hit the release that breaks open the weapon.
So you're behind him holding onto the gun?
Yes,
Okay, and where is that release located?
it is on the front of the trigger guard.
And were you able to activate that?
Yes,
And what happens, well, what happened to that gun on that night when you were able to hit that?
the gun then broke open at the breech, and the primer fell onto the floor.
What is the breech?
The breech is the back of the barrel.
So, does it crack in two?
Yes,
Okay. And located in there somewhere is the primer?
yes.
And so, at that point, when that fell out, what happened next? And where were you guys when that wrestling match and that came out?
We were roughly in the center in front of the wood stove.
And what'd you do next? Or what did he do next?
He was continuing to try to shoot the gun.
How was he trying to do that?
He was pulling the trigger.
Okay. Go ahead.
Then we both fell onto the ground, closer to the couch, kind of out of view of this picture.
And, correct me if I'm wrong, are you still in, like, behind him, holding on to it position?
No, once the primer fell out, I no longer needed to have control of that.
Okay. And would it have been somewhere closer to this area that you guys fell onto the floor?
Yes,
Okay. Where, well, is it on there, or is it still not on there?
yes.
Okay, where?
About right here.
Okay. And did the fight end at that point?
No,
What was going on? Well, to the best of your recollection, how were you guys positioned on the floor when you fell?
he was on his back, and I was on top of him with one or both of my legs on his body, trying to control him.
Okay. And what do you mean trying to control him?
Just trying to keep him on the ground.
Had you, strike that. So he's on the actual wood floor?
Yes.
On his back, and you got one or both of your knees on him?
Yes,
And what are your hands doing?
my hands are controlling his hands.
And what is he doing?
He is trying to gain control of his own hands.
Okay. Would you describe it as kind of a wrestling match on the floor at that point?
Yes,
Okay. And I think you heard the 911 recording. You hear Brooks say that you have him on the ground, correct?
yes.
Okay. And were you able to keep him on the ground for a little while?
For a brief period.
Okay. And then what happened?
Then he did get control of his arms, and he was able to scooch closer to the couch and scooched his back up to the couch. So he was sitting with his back up to the couch right here.
And where were you when he was doing that?
I was still standing over him.
Okay. And then what happened?
Then he was able to lift himself and me up onto the couch.
Okay. And where on the couch were you guys at that point?
We were right here with the jacket and the bloodstain.
Okay. He's on his back on the couch?
Yes.
And where were you?
I was standing on the floor right here.
After he lifted you up onto the couch?
Yes, then I essentially stood up on the floor.
And what were you doing with your hands?
I was still trying to control his hands.
Okay. Was he fighting back still?
Yes.
All right. What were you, what was your plan while you were holding him down?
I was waiting for the police to arrive.
And was he able to escape you before that happened?
Yes.
Okay. So, actually, did something happen with the, did you do something with the muzzle loader after that was over with?
Yes.
What'd you do?
While I was standing on the floor and he was on the couch, I slid the muzzleloader across the floor with my foot over to the front door where Brooke was outside.
All right. And continued on the couch, correct?
Yes.
All right. What happened next?
Then I got up and ran over to the closet by the front door and grabbed the shotgun.
Whose shotgun was it? Or is it?
I do not know.
And so were you, what position were you in at strike that? When you got the shotgun, you got it out of the closet, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And so, could you tell the jury or show the jury where it was that you were when you had the shotgun initially in your hand?
I was right here by the closet door.
And do you remember where he was?
He was right here.
Okay. And what did you do when you got the shotgun out?
I pointed it at him.
Did you tell him to do anything again?
Yes, I told him to get out.
Did he?
No,
What did he do?
he grabbed the shotgun in the same manner he grabbed the muzzleloader.
And what do you mean by that? He grabbed the barrel?
Yes.
Okay. And so he's got the barrel, you have the butt end, is that right?
Yes.
And what happens?
The shotgun breaks in half.
What part of the gun did he wind up with, and what part of the gun did you wind up with?
He had the barrel of the gun, and I had the stock of the gun.
May I have a moment, Judge?
You may.
What happens after, well, what is your reaction to the gun breaking in two?
My reaction was, what the fuck?
And what happened next?
We then were beating each other over the head with pieces of the shotgun.
Okay. He with the barrel, you with the stock?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember where that started? Did it start right where you had raised the gun and he had grabbed it?
Yes.
Was he saying anything to you at that point?
At that point, no.
What happened after that initial break of the gun? Or, I'm sorry, after you started hitting each other with the gun parts?
He starts to move further into the living room as we're hitting each other back and forth.
Can you show the jury with your pointer which way?
We started here and made our way this way.
He is closest to us and you are on the other side, is that right?
Correct.
So he's backing up?
Yes.
Okay. And you're both hitting each other with these implements as you're traveling through the house?
Yes.
All right. And where ultimately do the two of you go?
We go through the living room into the hallway that connects the kitchen to the living room, then briefly through the kitchen and into the dining room area.
Is there any sort of ceasefire between the two of you, or was there you just clubbing each other the whole way?
It was back and forth the whole way.
How far into the, is it fair to say that you went, circled through the kitchen and into the dining area?
Yes.
And is that where a sliding glass door there?
Yes.
And what happened around that area?
I swung the shotgun, breaking an overhead light fixture and breaking the shotgun over his head.
And by the way, after it had broken, did you actually change the position of the gun from its original position in your hand?
I did. I did turn it around and grab it by where the barrel was.
Okay. And after the stock broke, strike that, before that, is it fair to say that correct me if I'm wrong, what is, this is marked as exhibit number 19. What does that show?
This shows a picture taken from behind my green toolbox by the front door
So,
into
I'm sorry, go ahead.
into the kitchen where we ended up by the glass door.
Okay. And where was he at that point?
He had his back to the glass door,
And where's the front door?
right in line with the way this picture is taken.
But where?
Right here,
Okay.
further.
And where were you?
I was in front of him, roughly about here.
Okay.
You can see the light.
After you broke the stock, what did you do?
I essentially deemed it useless because it was much shorter than it was. It was several inches shorter after it broke, and I did not want to get that close to him.
So what'd you do?
I then started to back up.
And what did he do as you were backing up?
He continued to follow me and swing at me with the gun barrel.
Okay. And as you're backing up, what portion of the house are you headed towards?
We're headed towards the kitchen.
And what happens?
We make our way completely into the kitchen, and I notice my firearm on the top of the top cabinet, and I grabbed my firearm with my left hand, took the holster off with my right hand, and then shot him
About how far away from you was he?
about 2 feet.
2 feet from the end of the barrel or 2 feet?
Yes.
Okay. What happened, what did he do after you shot him?
He fell to the ground.
And did he fall on his front?
No, he fell on his back.
Okay. And what did you do?
I went outside, ran out of the house to find Brooke.
And was she out there?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And what did you do next? And by the way, we hear you say that he's moaning on the 911 call. Is this where he's moaning?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, I interrupted you.
After I checked on Brooke and knew that she was okay, I then went upstairs and checked on the girls. I was still naked, so I just popped my head through the door, and then I went into my bedroom and put pants on.
And did you do anything else when you were upstairs?
No.
You've heard Attorney Gagne talk about and read about your phone call to your boss. Did that happen at some point?
Yes.
Okay. Bring us from what you can remember from when you went upstairs to put pants on. Where did you go after that?
I went downstairs and I got Brooke shoes because she was outside in the snow. And then I believe I went inside and called my boss.
Okay. And did you have a conversation with him, as Attorney Gagne pointed out?
I did.
And after that conversation, he sent you a text, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, where are the girls?
They are in their bedroom.
And where is Mr., as we now know, Mr. Letendre?
He is in the kitchen, to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. And Brooke was outside, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so, did you take pictures?
Yes.
Okay. Did you take only a picture of Mr. Letendre?
No.
I'm going to show you this. I know it's pretty dark. Can you tell us what these are? Are these pictures that you took?
Yes.
Okay. And obviously, that's Mr. Letendre on the upper left, correct?
Yes.
And what's below him, which was really not visible?
The shotgun barrel.
No. I mean the photograph.
The photograph below is a picture of the stairwell with my bloody handprint on it.
Okay. And what's next to that?
Next to that is a picture of the floor in my bedroom.
And what's above that?
The other side of the room with the linoleum.
And what's the final picture up there?
That would be the girl's bedroom door.
Okay. So you took these that night, correct?
Yes.
These are fair and accurate representations of all those things in your house, correct?
Yes.
I asked to enter this, Your Honor.
All right, that will be the next exhibit. We got 84.
84.
Exhibit 84.
What did you do next?
I then went back outside, expecting the police to be there.
And what happened?
They were not.
And then what happened?
Then I was talking through Brooke to the 911 operator.
Okay, so you could hear Brooke talking to the operator?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say you were talking, I'm sorry, what did you say? Say that again. You were
I said I was talking through Brooke to the operator.
Okay. And we've heard that in this case, correct?
Yes.
And I'm not expecting you to know exactly when certain things were said or whatever, but what generally are you talking about when you're talking to the 911 operator through Brooke?
She's asking me to check on Johnathan and check his status and where he may have been shot.
Okay. Fair to say that we hear you respond to those requests angrily?
Yes.
Did you want to go in there and check on Johnathan?
No.
Did you have any idea what time it was at that point?
No.
At some point, did you decide to go in and check on Johnathan?
Yes.
And what was it that was said on the 911 call that caused you to finally go in and check on him?
Brooke told me that they need to know.
And who did you, well, strike that. So what did you do?
I went inside to do what the state police was asking.
And where did you go?
I went inside.
And to where?
I went through the living room into the dining room area in front of, or I passed by the front of the stairs.
And did you have your firearm with you?
I did.
And when you had, well, first of all, after Johnathan fell onto his back, did you observe him able to move?
Yes.
Okay. And was he saying things to you at that point?
Yes, he was.
And what were the things he was saying to you while he was on the ground?
He said multiple times in a row, "I need an attorney." And then he said multiple times in a row, "I am going to kill you."
And you had not been back there for some period of time, correct? Before?
Correct.
Okay. And so you went where?
I went around the staircase in the front, and I took a right around the staircase.
Well, so you go to the you head to the staircase. Are you going into the kitchen?
Into the dining room.
Okay, so you went left.
Yes.
Okay. And what happened?
As I came around the corner, I saw him getting up, and I shot him again.
Okay. When you say getting up, what did you see his position to be?
I saw his arms extended underneath of him and the majority of his body off the ground.
Okay, and did that surprise you?
Yes, it did.
What did you do after you pulled the trigger?
I immediately went right back out of the house, out the front door.
Okay. And were the police there yet?
No.
Okay. What did you do outside?
I then walked over to where Brooke was.
And eventually did the police come?
Yes, eventually they did come.
Okay. And we've seen a video of them arriving, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You were placed in a cruiser, is that right?
Yes.
And that was for some period of time, correct?
Correct.
And I believe we've established that the 911 call was made at 12:37, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you wind up at the state police barracks at about 6:05, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Had you ever shot anybody before?
No.
Do you remember about how long it was that you remained in the ambulance at your house?
I do not remember a specific time, but it was a lengthy period of time.
Okay. And in that period of time, what was happening to you physically?
Everything was continuing to hurt worse, and I was essentially in shock.
Were you able to see your body? What was going on with blood on your body, etc.?
I could see my hands, and I briefly saw a reflection of my face either off a metal or glass surface in the ambulance.
Did you have knee surgery in high school?
I had knee surgery right after high school.
And in the ambulance with you were who?
EMTs and state troopers.
Do you recall how many state troopers?
They were going in and out, but there was always one state trooper in the ambulance with me at all times.
Okay. And the ambulance remained at the house for a long time, correct?
Yes,
Why?
because I did not want to go to the hospital at the time. I wanted to see Brooke and my children.
Did they let you do that?
No,
So it was your request to stay there to try to see your kids in Brooke.
yes,
And were they treating you for any of these injuries at that point?
no,
Had you asked for some water?
yes.
Why specifically?
I had blood in my mouth.
What was going on with you as best you can answer, psychologically?
I was having a hard time processing what just happened, and my mental state was blurry and jumbled up at best.
And was that while you were in the ambulance?
Yes, and over time getting worse.
Okay. At some point, you actually asked to go to the hospital, correct?
Yes,
Why?
because I had sat in the ambulance for a lengthy period of time and nothing was happening, and I was definitely injured. So I figured if I could not see Brooke and the kids, I might as well get the treatment or be looked at by the people at the hospital.
I'm going to show you what, and when you were at the hospital, you heard, I believe, or did you hear, I believe it was Trooper O'Brien, who said that you were at the hospital for about an hour and a half before they took you to the barracks. Is that, first of all, do you remember that being what he said? Second of all, if you do, does that sound about right?
Yes, I do remember that that is what he said, and it does sound accurate.
Before you left the hospital, was it state police that took photos of you?
Yes, I believe so.
And I'm showing you what's been marked as exhibit number 54. You see that?
Yes,
What's that a picture of?
that is a picture of my legs.
And drawing your attention to what appears to be your left knee. Can you describe what's going on there?
Yeah, it is severely swollen.
And was that injured during the fight?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as exhibit 47. What is that?
That appears to be my right hand.
And what observations are you making of your right hand in that picture?
I can see it swollen right here.
And obviously there's blood on it.
Correct.
Okay. Obviously a picture of your face, correct?
Yes.
And that is exhibit number 45. Last one for this, exhibit number 42. They asked you to pull your shirt up, is that right?
Yes.
And what observation do you make of what you're observing about your body there?
I can see I have blood on my body, and I believe I see bruising.
Okay. Did they give you any medication for your pain when they discharged you?
No.
And you were transported to the barracks by state troopers, correct?
Yes.
And who, obviously we see the video of you in the big table with the troopers, correct?
Yes.
Can you describe as best you can? I mean, we've seen the video and the questions that they ask you. Fair to say that your answers sometimes are not accurate, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe at that point, as you were walking into the barracks, you now know what was injured on you as you were walking into the barracks?
Yes.
What?
My head, my hand, and my knee specifically, and my entire body was beaten up.
And can you describe as best you can what was going on psychologically with you at that point?
I was trying to process what had happened that night.
Okay. And you'd agree that that some of the that when they start asking you specifically about numbers of shots and distances apart and all that kind of stuff, you appear confused initially, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, when you left the house after shooting Mr. Letendre as he was getting up, you heard in the 911 call that the 911 operator was asking if you shot again, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Brooke was asking you again, Brooke was translating for the 911 operator, correct?
Yes.
And she asked you if you shot again, correct?
Yes.
And what did you do?
I gave Brooke an affirmative nod, yes.
And she told 911 that you shot again, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That was some number of hours before, correct?
Correct.
Okay. As best you can, again, as best you can you describe the way that you were thinking specifically with regard to the shootings?
I was having a hard time defining two separate times where I shot him.
Okay. And we see you initially saying, I don't remember, could one, maybe two, if it was two, I did it quickly.
Yes.
When you're answering that way, as best you remember, are you trying to deceive?
No.
Sustained in that form.
Are we struggling with processing the shooting?
Objection leading. It is. You can rephrase your question.
What was happening in your head with regard to trying to process the fact that you shot a guy?
I was having trouble defining two separate instances where I had shot him.
Okay. It's now been, what, almost 2 years since this incident occurred, correct?
Yes, it'll be 2 years this Christmas.
And you've had time to process this whole situation, is that correct?
Yes.
You've watched videos of this case, correct?
Yes.
You've listened to the 911 call, correct?
Yes.
You've met with me a number of times at your house, or at 239 South Street, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you said on the video, if I ever did something like that, I would hope someone would put me down. What do you mean?
I meant that if I ever tried to murder somebody, that somebody would stop me.
Okay. when you went to bed that night, the night after Christmas, sir, were you expecting to have to, first of all, were you expecting that someone was gonna break into your home?
No,
And were you expecting that you were going to have to fight somebody over firearms?
no,
Were you expecting that you were going to have to wrestle firearms away from a home intruder in your house?
no,
Were you wanting to shoot somebody to death that night?
no.
Why didn't you shoot him with the muzzle loader?
I was not trying to shoot anybody.
What did you want him to do?
I wanted him to get out of the house.
And each time that he was given an opportunity, what would he do? Opportunity to leave the house, what would he do?
He would not take the opportunity and then charge right towards me.
And going back a little bit with regard to the photograph that you took of Mr. Letendre as he was lying on the linoleum face down with his hand on his head, I believe the trooper testified to my question that that photograph was taken at 12:52, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'm not asking you to remember that, but you remember that that's what he said, right?
Yes.
May I have one moment, Judge?
You may?
Did you even want to go back in and check on him?
No.
That's all I have.
All right, cross-examine. Can we approach the, you may?